And hello and welcome to Miami View Women. Today we are kicking off Women's History Month with our cafecito or our cortadito. Cheers, because we are also celebrating 305 Day with our very, very special guest today, who is Cuban American, Miami native, a designer extraordinaire, and breast cancer survivor, Maria Elena Holguin. Welcome and cheers.
Hi guys, thank you so much and cheers to you. Thank you for having me on Miami View for Women.
Thank you for making the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
I usually don't drink cafecito this late in the day. I try to stop after 3 o'clock. Otherwise I can't sleep, but I love this idea, Carolina, to do our little celebration 305
Yes, and you know, what better way to celebrate it with a Cuban American, because it was created by 305 Cafecito, which became 305 Day, you know, which marks March 5th. And I know you're a native of Miami. I grew up in Miami as well. And so this is so appropriate to celebrate and to kick off our month with you. So I'm just excited to have you here.
Thank you.
How else are you going to be celebrating 305 Cafecito?
Well, like you and Miriam, I don't drink cafecito after 3 o'clock. But actually, it's funny because I can't have milk, so haven't had milk in a long time, and the only thing I can drink is cortadito con leche evaporada. So my one cortadito con leche evaporada today is right now.
That's my favorite. La leche evaporada is the best.
What is that? I'm like, what is this?
It is like really
it. Sounds great.
thick milk. I don't know how to explain it, Maria Elena. How would you explain that?
It's just a sugary, sweet, delicious thing that you have to try. It's between real milk and condensed milk, somewhere in there in between. I don't know why I can only drink that milk and a little bit. Everything else doesn't go well. So I have cortadito con leche evaporada.
Cortadito con leche evaporada.
Evaporada. Evaporada.
Okay.
Evaporada.
Evaporada.
I love it.
I'll bring you one so you could taste it.
Okay, that would be wonderful. Yes, and they want to try to order it the next time, but they will just be like, oh, gringa. They'll not. So it'll be good for me.
You know who I wanted to mention today too, which is the mother of Miami, and it is Women's History Month, Julia Tuttle. I really wanted to mention her because, I mean, if it wasn't for her, bringing in Henry and Flagler, we wouldn't be here and celebrating our Miami ways.
It's so strange that you said that, because Henry Flagler was one of the first people that actually purchased at our studio 115 years ago. Our studio is 114 years old, and Henry Flagler back then was one of the first ones that purchased like a refrigerator and things that we don't sell right now. But he purchased, him and his wife purchased things for their house, and that's part of our branding here at Robin Stuckey. It's so weird that you said that.
It's incredible. So what is the name of, I know you're the executive, you're the director.
Design director, yes. Yes, I'm the design director at Robin Stuckey. It's like I said, 100 and something years old. And here we're a design studio, and we have 5 stores in Florida and growing. But we pretty much do everything, projects from small all the way to, hotels and lobbies. And, that's what I get to do and get to have fun with every day in a 25,000 square foot studio. It's wonderful.
That sounds so fun.
To that. And before we get into that, I did want to say how even celebrating, right? It feels different this year in a way, because it's like we want to be celebrating and 305 Cafecito and Women's History Month. But the reality is we're still in a pandemic. The reality is we're still, the vaccines are rolling out. FEMA with the federal government is opening up a bunch of sites. The reality is that you are also a cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor, that you went through a lot in 2020. And I don't want to sound tone deaf. So we definitely take these moments and these days just like a little bit of happiness, right? To bring into our lives, because the reality is that it's been tough. It really has. And we were speaking with you in the back end. And, I met you many years ago in one of our mindset. I think it was Mina Shaw mindset convention, where it's all about women not getting in each other's way. I mean, in our own way to succeed. And then from there, we kept our relationship. But really, I feel that we deserve these moments. We deserve to celebrate because we have gone through so much. And I want to get into that with you because I know 2020 was really difficult.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Nina, and I think we've done Michelle Villaloba's seminars together and all of that. And exactly, like, how do you get through a pandemic, cancer? And my mother-in-law passed away July from COVID, and marriage and kids and work and all this. How do you get through it all in 1 year? And, and I think learning throughout the years from all these wonderful women, and especially my oncology team, which, by the way, is all rock star women. I don't know how the journey just so happened that all my team that I put together is all major rock star women. The way that I got through it was attitude. And the thing that they told me the most when I first started putting my team together, because I'll talk about in a little while how interior design and putting my team together for my cancer journey kind of coincide together. As I put my team together, the one thing that they told me the most was, if you have a good attitude, if you just be positive, you'll get through this a lot better than the patients that I see that don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that got me through it is attitude.
Yeah. And you've always been a very positive woman and with a lot of faith in God. And how was your support system as well in your family life? You just mentioned the Rockstar Women and the oncology team, but how was also your support system with your friends and your family, your colleagues?
Yeah, that's a big thing when you're going through things like even a pandemic. Even if I didn't have cancer, you need a village. You need a real big support team. And before the pandemic and before cancer, I think I'm a very cool. I used to be kind of not quiet, but kind of like in the background kind of person. And I was like, I have friends, but and then I realized during this journey of cancer that I have a huge village around me. Both of my kids, two of my kids, I have three. Two of my kids are in studying medicine, and my husband and my kids just took on like everything. My daughter got, she started like, okay, I'll drive you here and I'll do this for you. My son was the research kind of guy. My daughter also started cooking, and my husband, he was a rock, because him going through his wife having cancer and his mother passing away was a lot last year. But he, out of 26 years that he's never cooked it, and in any of those years, he started to cook, and he started to call everybody and say, how do I do el pollo fricassé, and how do I do this, and how do I do that? And so it was our family got very tight, very, very tight because of all of this.
And how did you manage with your work, how did you manage with the pandemic? So we're only talking about cancer right now. So
Right.
building on just cancer, then you are working full time, then the pandemic is going on. So how did you manage all of that?
Well, I'm going to tell you my aha moment, which had a lot to do with you and this show. I found out on March 6th. Actually, I didn't find out on March 6th. Last year on March 6th at 3:00 in the morning, I, out of the blue, woke up and touched my right breast. Don't ask me why I woke up at 3:00 in the morning. Until this day, I don't know. And I had a lump. And I was like, so I'm like, waking up my husband, and he was like, wow, and he said, yeah. So I sent an email to my OBGYN, and when I woke up, he said, go do a mammogram. And mind you, I tell every woman, check yourself, because my mammogram and ultrasound was 7 months before. If I wouldn't have woken up at 3 in the morning, it saved my life, because my cancer was stage 3. So I would have waited till July. So that same day I woke up, I went to one of those places that does, the imaging, and I sat there for 3 hours, and I'm not leaving until I get an ultrasound and a mammogram, and they did it. About a week later, I had a biopsy, and then I was told on March 19th that I had breast cancer. Came to work on March 20th, and my boss tells me we're closing down for quarantine in 1 week.
Wow.
No job and breast cancer. And back to what I was telling you, that because of you, I was doing some bullet points for this interview, and I realized, thank God that I am an interior designer. Because as an interior designer, I didn't realize until this morning. It was like this big aha moment. As an interior designer, I kind of put my life as the biggest project I've ever had. The whole cancer journey, and I realized this morning, my cancer journey I didn't realize it, was the biggest project. Because what I did is, as soon as I found out on a Thursday, that weekend, as a designer, we look at the project, we put together a scope of work, we do design concept, and then we have to hire the best specialists that could help us put our designs, transform our designs to reality, like contractors and demolition guys and painters and all that kind of thing. And I just realized this morning that's what I did. That weekend, right after, I put together a plan of action. I said, that day before, I had gone to an oncologist at Sylvester that my OBGYN sent me to. And she had said, okay, you have to do an MRI, you have to do this, you have to do all these tests. So that weekend I said, okay, scope of work. I didn't know it, but I was doing a scope of work. And I put together my preliminary scope of work. I have to do these tests. I have to, interview my oncologist, my surgeon, my all this stuff. And the following week, I'll tell you what, in 2 weeks, I had every single test. I had hired my team, which is my clinical oncologist, my surgical oncologist, and my radiologist. That was my preliminary team. And I had already, my first date, I had already done the port, because they put a port in you to put the chemo in. And I already had my first day of the date of chemo set in 2 weeks.
My God.
It was like, like I really didn't realize that I did it until today, that I was like,
you're working on yourself. You were the project.
I'm still the project. And at this phase of the project, just like interior design, I am now transforming the space, which is the space is me. I've already done the demolition, and I've already done the reconstruction. Now I'm in transformation stage, which is nutritionist and working out and eating healthy and all that, the beautification of the project.
And I don't want to interrupt you. I know there was a lady, Suzanne Suarez, was saying hello. Hello, Suzanne Suarez. We are not ignoring you.
Suzanne.
I just didn't want to cut Maria Elena off, but you are welcome to ask Maria Elena any questions live, so please do.
Let me tell you, Suzanne was one of my biggest part of my village. One of the biggest supporters. She was every day. She's an interior designer also, but what this woman did with me during my journey was, a fabulous friend. I've known her for like 20 years.
Nice, nice.
Thank you for popping in, Suzanne. It's great to see you in here. I'm just in awe of this whole story. I can't, the things that we deal with as people, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
What do you think was your biggest lesson? I have to tell you, so I've been following you on Facebook, and I saw when you shaved your head.
Yes.
I saw that. I've been following you. I know we met a long time ago, and then I've been following you, and then this is right. We're here now.
We're here.
So
yeah.
I found that to be so just courageous and transformative, because then you came out with no hair, and you looked elegant and strong and bold, and I felt like you were going to take over the world. I'm like,
That's
this
exactly
woman was able to survive because, and I kept sending you great vibes through, all the comments and everything, but I don't know if I would be that strong. I admire you so much, just like Miriam said. I'm just in awe of you.
Thank you. That's like I never, obviously I never sought out to motivate or do any of that. I was just going through my journey, and I posted. I had a private group chat that I thought was going to be like 10 or 15 people, and it turned out to be like 50. And while I was doing my little videos on my private chat, a very good friend of mine, Grace, said, like you really motivate me every day. Just do it on regular, I guess your whole journey, like show it to everybody. So I started doing that, and it's been very humbling. Even today, one of the girls here told me that she was following me and how many things she transformed. And I think to answer your question about what are my lessons, I have 3 lessons that really, I think just 3 lessons that really shook me. Number 1 was courage. I never in my life thought I had that much courage to go through everything at the same time. And now I feel like that, yeah, you get scared, but I don't fear. So that's my second one. Courage is my first one. My second one is when I fear, because I'm human, so I get scared of things. I say, okay, I acknowledge the fear, and I do it anyway. For example, I was about to cancel on you because when you sent me a message this week, I was like, what? It's been 2 months, because you asked me like 2 months ago, and you sent me a message, and I was like, oh my God, what? Oh God, what do I do? And then I said, okay, acknowledge the fear and do it anyway. And now I'm having a great time. And the third thing is the pure joy of life. We take it so for granted that we're going to wake up in the morning, and it's not like you don't know if you don't know anything. And just that pure joy of life. I hope it never, ever, ever, ever goes away. That, maybe 10 years from now, I'm like, oh, yeah, 10 years ago I had cancer and whatever. But I hope esa salsa, it's like, it's like there's something in me that I'm like, I'm so excited to be alive,
Yes.
So those are my 3 lessons. Is like, just be excited to be alive, have courage, and acknowledge the fear and do it anyway.
I think
I'm
that
gonna
last
share
one,
some.
that last
Go
one,
ahead.
it's just so. I was on Clubhouse the other day, and we hosted a room on what's the best part of waking up, and I felt odd just saying like, just waking up, like. I mean, sure, splashing the water on my face, brushing my teeth, even using the bathroom, that feels great. It's like the best part of but I mean, just waking up is,
Yep.
I don't know. Do you have my question is, do you have any advice? Because I'm working on this mental health product right now. And there are so many people who don't wake up that way. They wake up and they're not excited. And heck, I've been there. Even when I was excited about my entrepreneur journey. I had to do a switch of mindset to not wake up and be like, oh, my life is hard. So any words of wisdom for those that wake up and they're just kind of not feeling that zest?
Well, I'm glad you brought up mental health because it's a really big issue, especially now after the pandemic. Mental health is something that has, I have friends that are therapists and psychologists and stuff. And I think Carolina, you probably know Sheena, and anyway, they've talked to me about how people are not dealing with the grief of being in a quarantine and losing their love, so all this pent up frustrations and all this stuff is really causing a lot of mental health issues. And going through cancer, you also have your own, fears and your own issues. So I am all for 100% for therapy and getting specialists, just like I get specialists in interior design that help me build a space the best possible. I think to be able to build the best us that we can throughout our lives, we need specialists that will help us do that, whether it's a doctor, a nutritionist, a physical therapist, or a mental health specialist. And I've, with this cancer journey, I have talked to a couple of them, and I think the biggest thing, and I don't want to downsize anything because everybody goes through different things. The biggest thing for me has been my faith in God, and I know that He's, He's gonna. He put a lot on my plate this last year, a lot. He put a lot on my plate, and I kept saying, like, what? But I think faith, whether it's, whatever God you believe in, faith that everything happens. I know it sounds cheesy. Everything happens for a reason, and there's life lessons in there. Taking time for yourself to just, I take time to meditate. I take time to, with people that are going to help me, like my nutritionist and my trainer, and people that are super positive around me. Remove everyone that's negative around you. And I found a lot of people through this journey that were negative, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what? One thing that you did share with us was that you did have a huge design project while you had cancer in the middle of the pandemic. And so I want to ask you, did being a work woman, did that help you? Did that inspire you? Did that maybe even distract you and motivate you through the process of cancer?
Definitely. Being able to create, I got the project before I learned about my cancer and the whole pandemic. I got the project like in February, and then in March, everything closed down. And the project is 20,000 square feet of home in Bahamas. So usually I would fly wherever my project takes me, but I wasn't able to do that. My client never found out that I had cancer. And
Wow.
I work in an amazing studio with a really great boss, very supportive corporate world. And so I partnered up with another designer, Deborah, for this project in the Bahamas. I went through, they hired me in May, so I had already gone through 2 chemos. And I just worked like, chemo would take me down. I mean, like bring me down for about 3 days, 4 days. And then I had a week and a half of work. And then I had, another chemo and it would bring me down. So from May until September, I was working from home. I was able to be so creative because I had no distractions of, coming in and out of the office, the travel, the traffic, the phone calls. So yeah, I was able to be super creative. I was able to be in my home office and just zone out and focus on that one big project. And with the help of Deborah, our project came out amazing. Not to pat my own back, but the client is like absolutely thrilled. And he's giving me he's not giving me, he introduced me to his brother, which is going to do another 20,000 square foot home. So I think that being busy during all of this took my mind off a little bit of everything and got me in a really happy, creative state of mind. That was important.
It's incredible. It's incredible because, Miriam, I feel, this is so transformative. I feel like COVID has been horrendous for all of us on so many ways, but I always see a light. I always see the optimism, right? So COVID in a way has transformed women to work at home, for it to be normal to just log on to virtual meetings. I feel like it's transformed our work life. I really do. And it's more efficient. At least for me, I've seen that it's just much more efficient to just jump on Zoom, get on a meeting and move on, then, let's meet for lunch so we can talk about the project. So then we can spend 3 hours to then talk about the next project, to then talk about that email. And it's like, I do feel that there is a positivity in the sense of transforming the way women work, transforming the way women interact with their colleagues and everything. But look at you. You were in the middle of cancer, working from home. And that was like, you were so focused and creative, even through cancer, while working at home, and you were still productive. So it kind of like, right? You want to tell all the bosses that don't believe in virtual and that they want to see you Monday through Friday face to face. And you're like, no, you have to evolve. Let's evolve from that mindset. I feel that COVID has made us, has pushed us to evolve into a forward-thinking work life, especially for women, that we are taking care of the kids, doing virtual learning, running around, but we are getting it done, so.
Yes.
Yeah, she's on fire.
She is on fire. Carolina, if you haven't seen this show before, okay, this is a moment that's just happening right here. I'm like so inspired about what you're saying. I feel like we need to get on Clubhouse immediately after this and just have this entire show again. Because the way you circled this whole story of Maria Elena's past year really does showcase like what a great example, because even just all the women who didn't go through cancer and did all of the things this year and made it happen and made it work. And then on top of that, you've got stories like this.
Yes.
It's transforming the future of work 100%. I see exactly what you're saying. I'm on board with this vision that you're seeing, Carolina. Yes.
Yes. It's that forward-thinking mindset. Let's get out of our head. Let's say we'll go back to normal. No, let's not go back to normal. because this is transformative. Let's think forward and be Maria Elena and be as focused and be as creative and get to do everything that we need to do with our kids. And you know what? Bosses, I'm speaking to you. CEOs, I'm speaking to you. Allow your employees to do that. There is a flexibility now that there wasn't before. There is this openness that just embrace it. You know, that's my 2 cents for the day.
I'm going to reread this book I have that I read in college called Woman in the Workplace, just to kind of see what learnings I get from it again, because I bet I'm going to get a lot of stuff. This is really sparking a lot of thought in me. Thank you, Carolina, for that. And thank you, Maria Elena, for sharing your story with all of us today. This is beautiful. Comments are starting to really roll in here.
Hi, Anna. Anna Pereira is a friend and client.
Nice. Anna Pereira, welcome. Thank you for your comment. She is an amazing person and a fabulous designer. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I would love to hear from the ladies that are tuning in. What, in a couple sentences or two, you know, what was your work life in the last year? Did you have a job? Did you work from home? Do you feel like what Carolina is saying, the future of work for a woman in the workplace is going to shift? Just comment in. I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
And while we wait for those comments, Maria Elena, I definitely want to focus on you giving back. So I know you do a lot of pro bono charity in regards to designing.
Yes.
And we want to hear more about that. How does that work?
Well, many years ago, I love my job and I love my clients. And I'm blessed that I get to design such, you know, beautiful spaces. But I was thinking many years ago, I didn't feel empty, but I feel like, what else, you know? Like, yes, I get to design for these people. They have a lot of money, but what else? I need to give. I need to do something. And one of the first projects I did was for the McLamore Center for children. These are children that have no parents, and they're, you know, put in here for a period of time. And I was able to transform the whole center. And I was like, oh, that's it. So I take, you know, my talent, and I have done a last wish for PICU Foundation for a girl that she wanted her room transformed before she passed. And that I did with Kimberly McCarty. And I could probably say that was the best project I've ever done. It was her bedroom. But the whole community got together to like the same as I'm saying, when you, as a designer, we get people, specialists, to help us transform a space, and whether it's a space or your body or your marriage or anything, you need the people around you and the specialists to help you. So because I know so many people that do a lot of things, like electricians and furniture people, I'm able to go into these spaces and transform them. I've done things for Camilla's house, which they changed the name, but you know, to transform a new apartment for somebody out of homeless. They were homeless, and they got their first apartment, and we were able to put everything they needed, down to the towels and the plates and everything. All those type of projects are just so enriching, and I want to continue doing them, you know, and I have a gift, so I'm able to give it away.
Beautiful. I love that. I didn't know that Camilla's House changed their name. What did they change it to?
It's called, oh my God. I forgot now. I'll if I remember, I'll write it on the chat.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no pressure.
One thing I wanted to say about what you said about to the bosses and work from home, there are a lot of careers that you think, oh, I can't work from home, like let's say an attorney or something. As an interior designer, I've always been able to work from anywhere, wherever my project is, or from the showroom, or from my house, or whatever, because you know, you kind of have to go everywhere. And I thought, oh, there's careers that you can't do that. Like, for example, law. But I have a project now, and it's a beautiful villa, and the woman is an attorney. She's a rock star attorney, and she's working from home, and she's doing it like Zoom and this and that, and she just gets it done. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And every time I go to her house, I hear her behind the doors, and she's blah, 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 and then she'll get off a board meeting, and she'll be like, I have 10 minutes. Show me what you got. And I'm showing her, and then she's got to back to, and I'm like, wow. She's amazing. I love her.
These lawyers are taking their trials through Zoom, and they're doing all of that through Zoom. And so I think it has transformed even the legal community. Well, even the I'm not a fan of it, by the way, but even the medical community, we're all on Zoom asking questions.
Right.
Yes. That was big, the medical community through, oh my God, that was such a big part of my cancer journey. My husband was only able to do the first meeting with me, with my with my clinical oncologist. And that was the beginning of March. And then after that, they closed down, and I did everything by myself. I had to go to every meeting. My daughter would drop me off outside, and I had to go to every chemo, every meeting, every radiation, everything, surgery. My husband was able to sit in the front with me, and then that's it. He didn't get to go in, nothing.
Wow. Maria Elena, have you received your vaccinations for COVID?
Yes, that was a big talk, and I know a lot of people don't know if to receive it or not, or especially women, because there was in the beginning a lot of I guess people were talking about if women wouldn't be able to have children, and there was so much. I'm not a doctor, so there was so much around it. But I spoke to my surgical oncologist, my clinical oncologist, my team, and they all said yes. And these are experts. So I got my first one, and then my second one is now on March 13th. So I did jump in and do it, especially because of my immune system and all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of as much as we're talking about the transformation of work for a lot of us, I think one of the things about 2020 has also made us realize like how vital other jobs that we just can't. There are some jobs that you just can't go remote, right? And we still need, and we should be grateful for all of the people that risk their lives. We're out there working, putting groceries in the store shelves and delivering us food, and electrician, like things just working still, right? Life went on.
Our farm workers who are the backbone of our community, and they still haven't received their vaccination, which would have a triple effect to our economy, correct? So a lot of the essential workers, because they started with the healthcare, they're now doing, the most vulnerable with a doctor's note. Then they're doing teachers now, all K through 12, firefighters, but farm workers. I feel that they are the backbone of our economy. If we don't have our farm workers, where are we getting our food? Our food prices increase. It's just a triple effect. And so it's been really, really challenging with the state not really focusing. And that's really controversial, right? Whereas everyone's Ron DeSantis is paying to play, where you pay him and it's all over the news. So this is not something new that I'm talking about. That the most places like Fisher Island and the most rich communities are getting the vaccines first, and they're all these out of towners. So it is a problem. The system is not good in regards to a state level in regards to vaccinations.
Yeah, and and Carolina, thank you for always keeping me informed on the issues. Like, I love that you watch the news. I feel like I'm like Carolina, really is on top of it. Because when I think about it too, I'm hearing stories about how people go and the vaccine has only 6. I would like to know numbers on how many of these vaccines actually ended up expiring, because there are so many people that are self-selecting, not taking it, right? It's like, I would have liked to see a rollout of just make it available to everyone and see if we have enough for everyone to get it. Like, why do we have to always have these hierarchies in society where we're saying like, well, you're better than this person and they're more efficient or they're contributing more to society? You know, I don't like that thought process at all.
You know what was funny today? I was looking, and Maria Elena will you can jump in on this too. I was watching a press conference from MDC, Miami-Dade Community College in North Dade, which the federal government opened up that site for healthcare workers, 65 and older, and those vulnerable communities. And the media asked our mayor, Daniela Levin Cava, when are we going to get vaccinated, right? So I was thinking, oh my God, I feel like they are so important in regards to if they're not around, we're not going to get the news. We're not going to know what our officials are doing. Where are we going to get vaccinated? I do feel that there are essential workers, and they're not being seen by our federal by our county government or state government as essential workers. They are essential workers because then we wouldn't know where to go. We wouldn't know where, you know, if the media doesn't work, how do we get informed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, we could, Carolina, we clearly need to have an episode just on this because, right, I mean, who is essential and who's not? We're all essential. Everyone has value. And I like data combined with my instinct. My instinct is everyone is essential. Everyone should be able to get the vaccine no matter what. But then my thing is, where's the data? How many vaccines do we actually have out of that percentage? How many people really want it, have the time to go get it? Let's not forget about like the go of the world and the scheduling.
And Maria, I don't know if you know, the state has not been transparent, and that is the truth.
Right. Where's the dashboard? Where's the live dash? And why do we always have to put on the state too? Where's the dashboard from the Moderna or the Johnson & Johnson or the whoever?
Oh no, Maria Elena was
she
was frozen. We went on a tangent and she was frozen. I do want to say Zan Suarez is saying another silver lining to COVID was the time spent one-on-one with family. We get to stop and breathe and share. Thank you, Suzanne Suarez. It's true. I think
very true.
My daughter, my two dogs, my pets are the happiest they've ever been with me.
Aww. And talk about your art. We don't know if we're going to get Maria Elena back, but we went over anyways. What is we brought back the art from last week.
Well, I thought that it was really important because last week we were a bunch of us. We were like 8 of us together on a show for education. And I just wanted to give Malala an encore because she's not for just education. She's for Women's History Month. And I wanted to honor her again and honor Camilita's, my daughter's painting. Together, like I said, with Julia Tuttle and Maria Elena and all of that. My lighting just fell. So I think we are running overboard and we lost her.
We did. I'm rapidly sending her a text like, we're going to stop talking about COVID. Come on back. And also my art today in this cup is by the amazing Carolyn. She's a local Miami artist. You can shop her stuff on Tile Blush, shop Tile Blush. And so check her stuff out.
Shop Tile Blush. You said that you had taken up, what do you call, what were you doing for quarantine? And you were making those.
Ceramics. So I met her in her ceramic studio. This cup actually is like super limited edition. This was when she was first starting out on her artist career. And like her stuff is the cutest stuff. We should have her on the show. But basically,
thank you, Suzanne. Saying Malala is a hero. Yes, my daughter painted that. And so basically she was?
Carolyn, her car at one point caught on fire. She drives super far out from Kendall to the studio in Little Haiti to create her art. And one day her car caught on fire. And
oh Oh my!
This was one of the pieces of
God.
art that survived from the fire, and I somehow got lucky enough to just get one of her pieces, and this was one of them. Like I bought a bunch of her stuff, but this was one of them.
Oh. Well, cheers to you. Cheers to Maria Elena.
Cheers. And cheers to all the women. Happy 305 Day and happy Women's History Month.
And we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. We're chatting next week with we have a double episode next week with Liza Benkovic and then another Liza Santana.
So we have double Lizas next Friday.
How fun. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Maria Elena, for your amazing story. We wish we could have said bye to you on the show, but amazing, beautiful. And thank you for everyone who tuned in to support the show.
Besitos y abrazos a todos. Chao.